Loser alert.
Happy 35th birthday to Terrorizer. World Downfall. Woo! Always loved the album. Super clean. I guess that's what happens when you decide to, immortalize your work at More Sound, which is what a lot of people were trying to do at the time, but that's fine. Anyway, it's always great. I love Terrorizer. They were one of the, they were one of the bands, the genesis of grind, if you call it, and following Master Deathstrike lead, of course, and basically taking crust and making it 100 times faster and brutal than it ever was before. But I always appreciated what it did to promote not only their own stuff from the past, but a lot of other bands too. So anyway, hails to World Downfall. Great stuff. Still listenable. Still fantastic. Fuck yeah. Jamming out all badass.
There are 3 blueprint albums for grindcore: Repulsion's Horrified, Napalm Death Scum, and Terrorizer's World Downfall. Okay? And when Terrorizer's World Downfall came out, things took a turn, a real turn.
Fuck yes! Terrorizer! Pretty excited about today. I'm not gonna lie. Listening to that just now, that track, yeah, it just took me back to the first time I ever heard it. I was a wee bit lad, 15-year-old Francisco. Remember getting a cassette and just played it all the way through and was like, what the fuck? I listened to that tape over and over and over. I was like, whoa. I don't know. 35 years the album is. 35 fucking years. Older than probably half of you in the fucking chat. What can be said about that album, right? Monumental. Influential. I know. So with the drumming on this album, obviously, I worship Napalm Death and Repulsion, early Napalm and Repulsion, and both obviously influential to me as well as many people all over the world. They were a little looser, right? Especially Napalm early on. But Pete's drumming just kind of like, it's just so tight, man. Just so tight. The riffs, Jesse and Oscar's riffs, fuck. A lot of, I know Oscar didn't play guitar on the album, but a lot of the riffs were his. You got to give credit where credit is due. Oscar wrote quite a bit of the album, along with Jesse, obviously. And yeah, to this day, still just fucking hair on my fucking arms, just stand up. It's just one of those albums, right? That just from the opening, the fade in the beginning of Afterworld Obliteration to ending the album with probably one of the greatest endings, for me anyway, of any album, with those two riffs. You know what I'm talking about. Those two ending riffs on the song World Downfall. How do I trust these lying bastards? Oscar's voice is just, fuck, man. Oscar Garcia is one of the greatest voices in the underground ever. Still to this day. Still sounds brutal as all fuck. I was actually talking to Eric Castro of Nausea, right? That's what they're still doing, Nausea, and they have a new EP coming out, according to Eric. And so Oscar's still going strong, and I know they still do the Terrorizer, their version, which obviously is the version that kicks ass because it's got Oscar's voice on it, right? But man, yeah, this album 35 years ago, so and it's very cool that Enrique and Emma will be joining me tonight to discuss. Obviously Emma is Jesse's sister, if you did not know. Hear her perspective on what was going on with Jesse at the time. Maybe she could fill us in on some stuff we've never heard. How any memories of Jesse leaving and talking about Terrorizer or whatever, in the name, the band, early on, what was it like? Were they excited about recording the album? Things like that. So it'd be cool to get their perspective. So, Terrorizer, obviously, huge. It's no secret, big influence on me. Still to this day. In ETD, there's Terrorizer influence part all over that motherfucker. Hey, we got to put a fucking. We got to put a Terrorizer part in there, ain't that right? JD, I always say, man, I gotta get we gotta throw some Terrorizer in there. I think so. Yeah, there's a Terrorizer. Speaking of Oscar, I will. I hadn't really talked to Eric Castro in a while. But I did mention it to him today. He might be listening. He said he's going to be listening. So, Eric, if you're listening, shout out to you. Work on getting him and Oscar on the show because, I mean, that's underground fucking royalty right there as far as I'm concerned. Majesty, Nausea, Terrorizer. You know what I mean? Those guys were doing that shit 87. So, yeah, it would be fucking an honor. I never really got to, I think I've mentioned this before, I never really got to, like, nervous or anything about meeting people. But I remember I got to meet Oscar, and we'll talk about it when Enrique and Emma get on, but went to California to check out that Grindcore Fest, which I want to talk to them about too. It was the first one, and Nausea played, and I'm like, oh fuck! It's just walking around. I was like, oh shit, that's Oscar from Terrorizer. I'd never fucking been in front of him. They never fucking toured. They never did anything. And I was like, holy shit! Just all of a sudden, I turned into that 15-year-old kid. I was like, oh my god! So I was kind of like, oh. This is pretty cool. So I got to meet him, talk to him for a little while. It was cool as shit. But yeah, that was one of the times I was like, oh fuck, holy shit. I just, like I said, I went back to when I bought that cassette and seeing the covers and the photos. I'm like, god damn. So that's how much Terrorizer, the early Terrorizer, obviously had an influence on me. Where I'm like, oh fuck. This is pretty cool, Some people get excited about meeting, I don't know, some big rock stars or whatever. And me, I was like, oh, shit. And that was cool. I remember I met Eric Castro there, too. And who else played that? Repulsion played that. Excruciating Terror. Holy fuck, were they brutal. Man. Sadistic Intent. Fuck, who else played? I don't remember, but it was cool as shit. Me and my buddy Matt Romero flew up there to California for that, and it was fucking cool. I think Nausea did Corporation Pull In that show, and of course, I mean, come on, hearing that live. It was fucking cool. It was cool. Made eye contact with GB. Yeah. So anyway, it's obvious how much this album has influenced a lot of people. There's 60 plus people already in here, and just started the show. So thank you guys for hanging out and coming in and checking it out. I'll play a couple of tunes and stuff, and just talk. I remember ordering the T-shirt from Earache Records back when you could order from Earache Records, and it didn't cost like $50 to ship. I remember I ordered Carcass Symphonies of Sickness short sleeve shirt, and I ordered a World Downfall long sleeve shirt. I was like, I'm the fucking coolest fucking dude ever in Clute fucking Texas, way back then with a, yeah, Carrie remembers it. Yeah, I remember I was like, dude, I'm the fucking coolest dude there is. That fucking shirt ruled. I remember I used to wear that shit all the time. I was like, fuck yeah. Got me a fucking World Downfall long sleeve from directly from Dig. I think Dig is the one that actually wrote me a letter back and everything. So, well, I say letter, but he might have written a few words or whatever and signed it. And, but yeah, I remember ordering those shirts directly from them. I was like, this is the coolest fuck. I mean, the artwork, the album cover, right? I mean, what is, you know, what's something bad about it? I don't know, you know. And fucking storm. But I remember writing too. I think I wrote every address on there, and unfortunately, I never got a. Yeah, I am wearing the coolest shirt of all time now. It never changed. Now it's a Haunted Hotel Records. Support my brother Ralph at Haunted Hotel Records. I'm actually wearing his label shirt. Vendo tamales. Motherfucker selling tamales in the chat. That's pretty good. Ruby, Enrique Mendez is hogging your tamale territory here, man. He's fucking. So what's happening? But yeah, when I used to just buy cassettes, and just said I remember getting the cassette and just playing it over and over and over and over. Eventually, I had the LP and CD also. It's one of those albums where I had to have it on every format. I don't know if you guys do that for only certain albums, or you do it for everything you own. But that was definitely one of the all formats. If it would have been on 8-track, I would have bought it on 8-track. You know what I mean? So, and then many years after the fact, Oscar put out that one track, Collapse. You guys familiar with that track on that FOAD compilation from that session? I was like, what the fuck? There's an extra song? That makes me think there's got to be something else. I think Oscar might be holding out on us. Hard to believe they only have only one extra track. And why did they hold on to it so long? Why? Did he think it just didn't fit the album, or what? But that track rips too. I remember when I heard it, I was like, whoa, this is fucking weird. It's like, how the fuck? What the fuck? So if you've never heard that, look up Terrorizer Collapse. And it's a song on that FOAD discography thing for Terrorizer. And it's the very first song. The very first song on that release, and it's that session. You hear the fucking, Pete's hi-hat. I mean, if you're one of those nerds that pays attention to things like that, like the hi-hat sound, and it's like there's that fucking hi-hat. Almost, it sounds like open quite a bit. But yeah, that track's called Collapse. Figured you'd heard it by now, Aaron. Poser alert! Let's give Aaron the fucking old poser alert. He ain't even fucking heard that song yet. Wow! All right, if you're new here.
Poser alert.
There you go. And I mean, I love the demo rehearsal stuff too, obviously. I bought the Before the Downfall comp from Hells. Hey, I literally got this news right before I jumped on. And since Enrique and I told them 30 minutes after, so They'll be here shortly. ETD album. The ETD album is available for pre-order at Hell's Headbangers right now. Right now. So go get it. 300 copies on neon green vinyl. Go get that shit right now. ETD. Nefarious Beans LP, neon green vinyl. They're gonna go fast. So go to Hell's Headbangers right now and pre-order that shit, and J-Dog will have that shit to you to send to your house as soon as they come in next month. So anyway, all right. So let's play another tune. I'm not gonna play the whole album, but I'm gonna play some of the songs. Well, second track is fucking incredible as well. I mean, the whole album rules, but there's always standout tracks, right? And this one is one of those tracks that just grabs you by the fucking throat right away and just. All right, gotta go with the fucking next one, the classic, right? I mean, this is one of those songs where you're gonna run through a wall when this motherfucker comes on. Fucking A. Fucking A. Fear of Napalm. That's one of those Hall of Fame tracks. Hall of Fame tracks. I mean, dude. Incredible. All right, so I just got a message from Enrique. Let me see. We're in a few minutes behind, but they will be here. So I can sit here and talk about World Downfall all night long. All night long. All night. You know, one of the weird things, I guess, about, I'm trying to think of any other album. Has there ever been any like back cover art that had a picture of the guy that produced the album or engineered the album or whatever? You know how Scott Burns is on there? I always thought that was kind of weird. That's if I had something to nitpick about, is like, it'd be that. Why do you want to put a photo of the studio guy on that album? That was kind of weird. What says ye in the chat? Did you mind it? Was it weird? Did you think it was weird like I did? Like, what the fuck? Why is this guy on here? His name isn't enough? That was always kind of strange to me. To sell more copies? I don't know. I've never seen that. Yeah, I've never seen it. Nobody. Rappers, yeah, that's good. So that was kind of weird. And then Mayhem used the same photo later, right? When it's on their No Fun or No Core or what is it? Mayhem used that same fucking photo. So I guess Mayhem did it as well, but they did it. They did it. If you guys remember, on the back of Death Crush, it's got Scott Burns on there. That same exact photo from the World Downfall. Yeah. He gave him Scott gave him a discount. So he put me on the back. Hey man, you imagine that? Having that conversation. Hey dudes, I'll cut you a deal. I'll cut you a deal if you put my photo on the back of the album cover. It's like, I'll fucking I'll hook you up, give you the homeboy hookup if you put my photo in the back of the album cover. So yeah, I mean, not even. It'd be like those of you guys that run labels. Would you put your picture on the back of an album cover? Imagine that. You running a label and it's like let me put myself on here somewhere if you're in charge of the layout. Why? Who would do that? Who would do that? Who would want that, first of all? On the front cover. Yeah, I released this. I paid for it, so I'm going to be on here somewhere. Imagine that. Some label owner like, yeah, exactly. It's my money. I'm paying for it. I'm going to be on this motherfucker. Yeah, Aaron Komos on the front of an album cover. Just like on the corner. Kind of like the imagine Diggs, that being Diggs' head right there instead of the baby on the bottom right. Imagine if that was Digby Pearson right there. That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I don't know. I might find that kind of funny if they put him in the collage. I guess that'd be a little different since this is a collage. Have fucking Dick Pearson on the cover, and he was on all of them, like on the Scum and From Enslavement. Have your fucking picture on there. That'd be kind of funny. Yeah. So what do you guys? Is this one of those albums that you play from beginning to end? No skips? I do. I did it today. Driving home, I was like, I gotta listen to this. Get me all hyped up, and it did. Beginning to end, it's one of those rare beginning to end albums that just don't stop, that just don't skip, don't whatever. You know what I mean? No skipties. Yeah, exactly. It's just fucking fabulous. Fabulous. What's up, Donald Katie? Religious fucks. Fuck yeah. You guys, I've played Religious Fucks on here. Donald Katie used to have a badass grindcore band called Religious Fucks. Back when we used to trade and stuff. That was a very good band. I played the Religious Fucks Eco Stench split 7-inch on here several times, I'm sure. I've lost count, but people always say, dude, that shit rules. Of course it rules. And you can actually find that very, very cheaply. I think somebody after a show said, dude, I just bought this record off Discogs for like $4 or something. So, another thing, Terrorizer is one of those bands that a lot of people have covered. Is there a Terrorizer like tribute album? I don't know. Is there one? There might be. But anyway, plenty of people have covered it. We, ETD, are going to cover a Terrorizer song live on January 18th of 2025 in Houston, Texas, for those of you that care. Enrique's band, Lurking Terror, covers Terrorizer live, and they fucking kick ass doing that song. Plenty of bands have covered Terrorizer. Well, Nalgas, you need to get your Nalgas of Doom down to Houston, Texas, or up, I guess, for you guys. Get your Nalgas up to Houston, Texas, and fuck yeah, $5. Yeah, $5 show. But yeah, cover songs. A lot of people have covered them. There's actually I was trying to think of like one of the cooler cover versions that I've heard of Terrorizer. I'm trying to think who did the Terrorizer cover that I dug. Besides ETD, our cover kicks ass. 36 what? Ancient did a cover? Ancient did a Terrorizer cover? Really? That's weird. The band Ancient did a Terrorizer cover? Is that right? Is that true? Holy shit. That's fucking Vader's Fear of Napalm? Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know if I've heard it. Maybe I have. I don't know. Oh, I was going to say Ancient covered Terrorizer. That just doesn't make any sense. But it makes complete sense. You know, it actually makes complete sense. Because it's like, oh, fuck, nobody's going to expect us to cover this and Terrorizer rules. So why not? You know what I mean? What would that sound like? Ancient covering Terrorizer. I don't know. Thank you, T-Bone. Thank you, T-Bone. Oh, y'all are Ancient. Oh, okay. All right, let's play another tune. Let me see, which one am I going to play next? Boom, bada, boom, boom. Shkoom, bada, boom, boom. I'm going to play this song. This song it's one of those songs that I think should be, to me, it's one of those like Hall of Fame ones, but it just, I don't know. A lot of people don't talk about this one a lot. Maybe you do. Maybe you just ain't mentioned it to me. Oh, that's right. Morbid Angel did cover Dead Shall Rise. Good call. I forgot about that. But this is one of those songs that just, when that fucking drum fill kicks in at the beginning and it goes, oh, fuck. This is one of those, this is one of the best, to me, this is one of the best songs on the album. Enslaved by propaganda. Yes, man. All right, let's go. This next song, Need to Live, is so fast. I just realized ETD has a song called Need to Die. I don't know why, Robert. Anyway. Fucking A. Need to Live. Yep, Oscar's voice is fucking brutal. Brutal as all fuck. Brutal as all fuck. Yeah, actually, you mentioned that about Pete, Aaron. Robert Mena mentioned when his old band Dark Rain did a few shows with Morbid Angel back in like '90 around Texas and Louisiana. That he pretty much just hung out with Pete the whole time, and he and Pete would get fucked up all the time together. So I remember him telling me that shit. Yeah, Pete rules. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not really digging what he's doing now or whatever. But I mean, there's no denying Pete Pete is a highly, highly important and influential drummer in extreme underground music. And if you don't think so, then I don't know what to tell you. Think some more. Yeah, those Terrorizer photos are fucking just ridiculous. That one guy. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that shit. I want to talk about the real shit. So, the first time, obviously, Terrorizer didn't tour back then. But the first time I got to see any incarnation of Terrorizer was Oscar. Oscar, the guitar player from Sadistic Intent. What's his name? Rick Cortez was one of the guitar players. Some other guy was, I don't remember the other guy. He was a guitar player. And then the old Nausea guy, Ghostmate was playing bass for him. And then I forgot who the drummer was. But it was surreal, like watching Oscar sing the songs like 10 feet from me. I was like, whoa. Just like, roar. So I just played the entire album front to back. And it was fucking great. It was fucking great. If you ever get a chance to see the Terrorizer LA version, yeah, I suggest you do. That's the closest you're ever gonna get. Closest you're ever gonna get to seeing, something, closest to the real thing, right? Because without Oscar, I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. Bass player Garvey, the old bass player on the demos and stuff, was unable to record. Yeah, Terrorizer LA is good. But yeah, check out. You can see that. Actually, you can see that whole show in Houston. It was at Fitzgerald's. They played downstairs at Fitzgerald's. If you remember Fitzgerald's in Houston, downstairs in Fitzgerald's wasn't the biggest fucking place. And it was of course jam packed. And they were great. Nausea played too. They kicked ass. If you ever get a chance to see Nausea, go check it out. I mean, that's Oscar and Eric Castro and Cosme. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it was Badass Weekend. That's right. I agree with that. It's like Dave Lombardo to the next level. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Fitzgerald's is not around anymore. It's a parking lot, dude. Fitzgerald's was around since early 70s. It's just a parking lot now. Unfortunately. That was a cool spot. Hold on. Always enjoyed shows there. Good sound. The upstairs was good sound. Downstairs was good sound. Downstairs used to be called Zelda's. Anybody remember when it was called Zelda's downstairs? And then they just made it Fitz up and downstairs. But, yeah. So those were good times at Fitzgerald's. All right. We're going to play one more, and I think when this is over, I'll have our guests on. I'm going to play this one. This song here, remember I mentioned that we always say when ETD, hey, man, got to throw in some Terrorizer. Stuff in there. This one was like, hey, man, there's a new song. Or I think it was JD. He's like, dude, write a riff where I can play something that sounds like the drum beat to oh fuck, I just draw a blank. To Rip to Shreds. You know what I'm talking about. You know that drum beat to Rip to Shreds? And I was like, well, fuck yeah, dude. We can do that. So there's some new stuff that has that beat to it. So this is also one of those Hall of Fame tracks for me, standout tracks on World Downfall is Rip to Shreds. Nothing to Gain But Murder. Bloody Animal Slaughter. Right? Oh, man. So good. So good. All right, here it is. Rip to Shreds. Yeah. Damn. Never gets old, man. Never fucking gets old. Incredible. All right. So enough of me talking. I've been yapping for a while now. And like I said, I could talk about this album all night long, all week long, like Lionel Richie, all night long. But anyway, let's bring on our guest. Thank you very much. Everybody stand up. Give them a round or 6 of applause. And here they are. There they are. Thank you. How y'all doing?
Oh, we just got home from work, so we're like rushing. I'm sorry we were a little late.
No,
but
that's all good. Like I said, I sat here.
Enrique told me like, hey, we have this interview like right now, and I'm like, what? like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, about the world downfall, and I'm like, okay. So I mean, let's I don't know, let's do it. I don't know.
Well, no, I appreciate both of you being here. I wanted to get your kind of perspective of it, of obviously being Jesse's sister, kind of like if you remember, if you have any memories of that time of the early Terrorizer days, and What was his attitude like back then? Was he excited about the band all the time? Would he talk about it and things like that? If you could share that with you.
Wow, we're going back what 35 years? Like,
More.
okay,
Yeah,
I feel
35
really
years.
old now. I feel really old now. So, um, Jesse and I, like, we grew up in LA, like, around the area of like Hoover and Washington. If you're from LA, you know that area. It was a pretty, it wasn't a safe area where we grew up in.
Rough.
It was pretty rough. Like, we lived down the street from Oscar Garcia, and there was like there was gangs that were like taking over the neighborhood. But you know what? Like Jesse, at the time, he's 3 years older than me, so his thing was music, so he connected with Oscar and like my brother Carlos, and at the time was like Garvey, and it was just that's what he did, and it was like, how do you? So the question, like, that I've had, like, with my parents, like, this my whole lifetime, is like, how do you become this like musician coming out of a gang infested neighborhood in LA, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's mind boggling because it was really bad. It was bad, and Oscar Garcia actually lived right in the middle of this neighborhood. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I think Jesse, like early on as a young kid, he was just always he was just always smart. He was very smart. He was articulate. He was creative. Like, he would build things, and I always like looked up to him because he was this like really like bright kid. And so I think that carried him through his teenage years until he got to connect with people like Oscar. That's another person that's really creative and like music wise, and I think they just connected. And I think the whole surroundings and environment, like, of like this violence that was around us, like, I think that just faded out for them. I think they just focused on the music, because I know they were self-taught because Jesse didn't have guitar lessons, but I think at some point somebody broke into our house, and I remember walking in to the house because we were latchkey kids, and this guy's like jumping out of our window, of a bedroom window, and me and Jesse were like, holy shit, and I think my dad at that time was like, you know what, I think we need to move out. I think we need to move. And that's when we moved to Huntington Park. And that's when the whole, I think he expanded in his music with Terrorizer because we were living in Huntington Park. But I think it's just a story about how
Evolution.
like where he came from. Like,
Yeah.
they were making music in Oscar Garcia's garage.
Yeah.
And right next door to them, like, these gang members were playing handball. There was a liquor store right next door with the big wall, and they were playing handball because we were scared. Like, nobody drove through there, and it was called Estrella Street.
Okay.
And I just think that, like, I always think, like, what would have happened if we would have gone a different direction, like if we would have became gang members, like, what would have happened? Like, it's just, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you hear about that, people growing up in rough areas, but it's I guess it just depends on. I mean, if you're strong-minded enough, you can, maybe not get involved with that. If you're more of an individual and not wanting to kind of be like everybody else, you want to do your own thing. And I think that's what these guys did, like Oscar and Jesse growing up in that area. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to. I mean, I that's what I would guess. Obviously, I wasn't there, but it seems like that's kind of what they were just like strong-minded individuals that just wanted to do their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because I mean, I had friends in the neighborhood that became gang members, and a lot of them died. A lot of them became like paralyzed. But it's like we were lucky. We were lucky that I don't know, like like just music was in our lives growing up. Like my dad was into classic rock, and that's just how that's the kind of music we heard around in our house. So
yeah.
it's crazy. We think about it like, how do we survive that? How do we come out of that? But we did, and I can't. I mean, I can't.
It's just. I'm
I
sorry.
can't speak for Oscar, but like and Carlos, and our other old friends. But like,
yeah,
we did it.
I think music saved them. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, so how do you feel? Your brother. I mean, obviously the album. We're talking about the album. It's one of the most influential albums ever in the underground scene by far, and it's still to this day. I was mentioning how in my band, I'll talk to our guys. Hey guys, we got to throw in some Terrorizer kind of inspired parts in this song, like even to this day, right? So how do you feel about the stuff that, or the impact and how far he was able to get, like you said, growing up in this tough area? I mean, it's got to be pretty damn cool, right?
I think there's the rest, everything came from the.
I think, like from my perspective, like growing up with Jesse, like and with my parents being close together, we were like a close family. My parents working all the time. We were latchkey kids, and I think like his accomplishment when he did the Terrorizer, and I mean he was like they did little other bands before that,
right?
But I think just watching him, me as growing up with him, like he used to like play, I don't know, Judas Priest all day long, rehearsing in the bedroom, So he had this like determination, like he had this like drive, and I think that's what I'm proud of, that he got to do that with his friends.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's. I mean, I grew up with Terrorizer World Downfall.
Right. No, I understand. It's just
like it's part of my staple. Like go to my parents' house and it's all World Downfall everywhere. It's like, I mean, it's just one of those. It's one of those things and those experiences with my brother, and when he was younger, of course, before he joined Napalm Death, that we kind of like, we always just keep it like, we keep it alive, and
yeah.
I mean, yeah, and we're so proud of everything he did. And to be honest, like at that back at that time, like he recorded and it was done, and then he quickly like joined Napalm Death, and then we were all wrapped up with like his life with Napalm Death, and it was like, he toured like, I don't know, 18 years with Napalm Death. So, but we were always really proud of like his Terrorizer love, and his baby, and
right.
And but being him joining Napalm Death just kind of maybe overshadowed that a little bit. Like we were just focused on his life, touring, and because we knew what he was doing, but at the end of the day, we're always so proud of like what he did, like, and growing up with this whole World Downfall Terrorizer. To me, it's like, okay, that's what he did, but when did I think this was like bigger than anything? I don't know. I don't. It's just weird because I don't really see it like, right. Oh my God! I mean, I do see it now. Like, I have a 14-year-old daughter that like listens to World Downfall, and I'm just like, holy shit! This is the next generation.
That's awesome.
And it's like, oh, okay, like now I like, you know what I mean? Like now I see it like, yeah, this is a great thing he did with Oscar and Pete, you know, at the time, like, you know, it wasn't like easy for them to do this, you know. I was talking to my dad about, you know, like how this came about, you know, because my dad has a lot of memory on this stuff. And he's like, you know what? Like they went on a bus, they took the bus to Florida to record this album, and it was rough. It was like, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, and you know, it was just like you know, they didn't even have like a, you know, a bass player. It's so like someone like Jesse, like never gone out of the state and just took off on a bus to Florida. That was like a big deal, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or down the road with me.
No.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if your parents were like my parents, because I mean, you know, being you know, Hispanic Mexican with my parents, I mean, like if I went across the street, they're like, "Hey, where you going? Where you going?" or whatever. I can only imagine leaving the state. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
England.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
England, yeah.
Yeah, but my parents were always like, because I think they just, because Jesse was like a good kid. He was like, you know, never in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think my parents just kind of supported him from the beginning. I do know a story. Like I think my dad saved for months to buy him his first guitar and amp. That was like $300 back then. I'm talking like maybe 1985. I don't know. But that was a lot of money back then, because like rent was like, you know, way less than that. So I think my dad just saw something in him. I mean, you know, parents just, I don't know. My parents were just always supportive to him. And even through his napalm death years, my dad was always like there. But I think that had a lot to do with it.
So did you ever did they ever practice like in your house, or was it always just Oscar's house?
I think it was always just Oscar's house. Yeah. We lived in an apartment, so there was like nowhere for them to practice there. But I'm telling you, he used to play in the bedroom in our room like all day long. Like
Did you ever go, were you ever that little sister that was like hanging out in the practices or anything? Did he ever allow you to hang out with him?
Yeah, I was the little sister for a while. I was Jesse's little sister. And to this day, I'm friends with all the guys that, you know, he was friends with back then, you know. I was making sandwiches, you know, for the guys, because they used to ditch school, and, you know, yeah. But yeah, I'm proud to say that I'm still friends with the guys. You know, they're my brothers. They're my family. We've always just like supported each other, you know, and the way we support Oscar Garcia's, you know, Terrorizer band, like, you know, that's our band. We're from LA and we support his band. And Nausea, we support Nausea 100%. You know, that's just how it is. We've been together for family for a long time.
Yeah, that's
I feel really
shout
old
out to
right
Eric
now.
Castro. Eric Castro said he was going to be listening. I sent him the link. So Eric Castro,
Oh, Eric.
another
We love
LA
Eric.
legend. Yeah,
That's great. I'll step in right here, but Eric's awesome, dude. I'll step in and say a couple of words.
Yes, of course.
Eric, Oscar, and Eric, Oscar, and Cosmo. They're diehard family to us. I mean, we love them. I mean, we'll back them up to the end. I've been me personally, I've been a fan of everything Oscar and Eric and Cosmo have ever done. Majesty, Nausea, Terrorizer, anything they've done, it's just magic. You mean, here in LA, some people didn't understand it at the time, but you know what? It's beyond what they ever did. It's something that can be captured in time, in the time capsule. and those guys have been fucking awesome and great friends. They're family to us.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it like, through the Facebook posts or Instagram posts or whatever. You can see it, and I know. I was gonna talk about this later, but I guess I'll mention it now. I actually went to the first grindcore fest that you guys put on back in 2012. I think was the first one.
2013. Yeah.
Okay, well,
wow, you were there?
I was there. Oh, of course, I was there. I mean,
Why did you say hi?
me and my friend Matt Romero went up there, and we brought Scott Peterson with us to the show that day, and Scott Peterson of Cryptic Slaughter. I'm not name dropping or anything. I'm just saying that's who we were hanging out with. But anyway,
he's a great friend of ours. You mean?
Yeah.
Cryptic Slaughter. I saw Cryptic Slaughter when they were when Scott was on drums. Maybe I think he was maybe 14, 15 years old. I mean, I saw them open up for great bands. I mean, I saw them open up for oh gosh, Evil Dead, Dark Angel, Possessed. I saw them open for oh gosh, I'm going way back. I saw them open for Discard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And, Scott Peterson is an awesome friend.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we went there, and it was like it was the first one. I think I mentioned it was like Sadistic Intent, Repulsion,
Excruciating Terror.
Excruciating Terror was fucking incredible.
And Nausea.
That fucking circle pit at that show. I was like, holy shit, man! It was wild. That's the first time I'd been to a show in LA.
That's LA, man. It's always been like that.
Yeah, that's the first time I'd been to a show in LA. So I was like, it was like that big warehouse, and yeah, I was telling earlier.
It was in Torino, yeah.
What was that place called?
It's called
The Vex.
The Vex, yeah.
The Vex. That's right.
Yeah, this is good. Long gone, but I mean, never forgotten. It was a great place for a lot of bands.
It was a lot of work to get that show done. It was a lot of work. I mean, it was like contacting Matt from Repulsion, like, it was.
Yeah,
it was a little tough, but we did it in honor of Jesse, and
yes,
a lot of family came in to do it. I mean,
so I think it, I think it just it was done because of the the love and honoring of Jesse.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I remember showing up because I showed up and we were there, and I just remember seeing. I mentioned earlier I saw Oscar like walking around. I was like, oh shit, that's the first time I'd ever been in front of him. Since a little kid. I mean, I had the cassette when I was like 15 years old. Like a long ass time ago, and to see him standing there in front of me, and I was like, oh shit, because I never really get like that around people. But that's how much that band kind of, just they just grabbed me, and I was like, oh shit, like immediately, right? But and one thing I will say, I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but for me it was cool. Now I know there's like for seeing, like, to me, if there was a band on the cassette that was on a label and you could get it at a record store, to me that was like, oh, they got to be huge. They're fucking internationally known and this and that. But it was cool that there was some Hispanics in America playing that kind of stuff for me. I know it was all over the place, but Terrorizer was a lot bigger than anybody else playing in the garages. So to me, that was kind of cool seeing that. There's a guy named Pintado, there's a guy named Garcia playing this kind of stuff. So I don't know if you guys ever heard anybody say that, but to me, it was pretty cool that there was some some Hispanic people playing in America. Obviously, there's Mexico and this and that, but it was just like. It was just another thing that grabbed my attention with the band back then.
Yeah, you know what? You make a good point. I mean, because we in LA, I mean, we're all Hispanics, right? For the most part. I mean, we had a lot of good bands. If you look at the history of all death metal, grindcore, whatever you want to call it, I mean, in underground music, there's not many musicians that are Hispanic descent. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of us. There's a great fucking bands across, I mean, especially in the southern part of South America and North America. There's a lot of great bands. But to be proud of our brothers and us, Garcia, Pete Sandoval, uh, my brother-in-law, Jason Pintado. I mean,
Yeah.
we did a lot for, and even the guys from Citizen Content, we did a lot for our music stood for. We're I could honestly say I'm proud of our Mexican or Hispanic descent. I guess to be better said.
Yeah.
We've done a lot for the music scene, and I think Terrorizer is one of the defining bands that stepped up and took us across that boardwalk. I mean,
Yeah.
Terrorizer, Nausea. I mean, Majesty. They're the beginning, and they will always be known. I mean, there's other bands like Agent Steel. I mean, who also has Juan Garcia, our buddy of mine. But there's a lot of great bands out there that are Hispanic descent. Going back to Terrorizer, like how can you not define Terrorizer as a band that stood out? I mean, for the world. I mean, because we're on the subject here, but yeah, Terrorizer, Nausea, Majesty, yeah, hell yeah, a big cheers to those guys. I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, I owe a lot. I owe a lot to them. I mean, like I say, they still influence me to this day. All those guys that were older than me that paved the way, not only for, young Mexican kids growing up in the United States, but obviously they reached everywhere, right? That's what made them so big and so well known. But it wasn't anything that was talked about with like the bigger bands. Like, there was some Hispanic guys like in Wasp and things like that, but it was never anything that kind of, I don't know. It just wasn't really talked about too much. And for some reason that when I was like, yeah, every one of these guys has, a Hispanic last name. I was like, it's pretty fucking cool,
Yeah, that's fine and all. I mean, for the world. I mean, but when it comes to underground extreme music, you cannot talk forward before mentioning Terrorizer.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. It's just I mean, there's kids nowadays still getting into, they listen to the albums, and with all the demos and stuff being reissued, everything being so easy to access nowadays, there's probably kids might discover it tomorrow and be like, have their mind blown, kind of like I was when I was a 15-year-old kid, and everybody was when they first listened to them. So again.
Yeah. I mean, our daughter.
All respect.
Our daughter Sedona, she like has her favorite songs from the album, and she's like so proud. Like that's my uncle, even though she never met him. Even though she never met him, but she's like, and like she'll have like patches on her backpack, and she's in high school. She's a freshman.
Yeah.
And like she's educating other kids, like, hey, you have to listen to this band. And so,
That's awesome.
then I'm like, I always tell her like, well, don't be so brutal, like just I don't know, like just I mean, because she's like, oh, that's my uncle, and like,
I mean, that's a niece that's proud, very proud of her uncle. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, 14-year-old kids nowadays, who knows what they're into, right? But that's awesome.
Well, it's like I kind of think like they don't have a choice, because like in my household, like our family, like it's like like Jesse stuff is everywhere. Like it's just part of us. It's like a staple, like in our house, like.
Yep.
So what, Francisco? One good thing is that we don't push our daughter to listen to anything she wants. She could listen to whatever she wants. I mean, but you know what? Like I said, we don't push her to hear anything she wants. You know what she wants to listen to? She wants to listen to old punk rock. She likes she likes certain death metal bands. But she's proud of her uncle. She's proud of her uncle Jesse being in Terrorizer, and I think that speaks forth a lot for the new class of the young crowd. You could say. I mean,
yeah,
it's a new crowd. I mean, I have my guitarist Vince. His son Phoenix. He's a drummer. I mean, and he's also drumming in a band, which is pushing death metal forward into a next generation. I mean, so I think with I think with our daughter and the new kids, I want to I don't want to call them kids because they're a little older now. I mean, but to think that death metal and grind would last over 30, 40 years. I mean, it's very incredible. To me, just doing this interview is incredible. I mean, who knew that we're going to be doing this? I mean,
yeah, I mean, it was you would never thought that you would see this kind of music being played at big festivals. You know what I mean? Never would you have thought back then that you would see any of these bands playing festivals with, Metallica or whoever are on these festivals. It's mind blowing to me, and it's hard for people to understand that if you weren't really around when it was smaller, right? But the way that the fact that it blew up, and bands and albums like this, like World Downfall, are a big reason for that, because people like maybe listened to it and I was like, oh shit, what is this? I got to find out more about this music, and then kids start their own bands and things like that, right? So,
I think that's what we're headed for. I mean, our little daughter, our daughter wants to be. She wants to sing. You mean, she wants to get angry and sing. You mean,
hey, is she there? Does she want to say something about her uncle? Is she shy or anything, or?
She's a little shy, but come here, Mama.
I think everybody wants to hear her.
Come on.
This is Sedona.
Hi. Hi.
Hello. Yeah, we were just talking about how much you dig Terrorizer and things like that. So how you're proud of your uncle's legacy and things like that. You care to speak on that any?
I mean, yeah, like, I'm definitely proud of him, and like growing up, I've always heard the music. Like, it was always like in my face, kind of like I was like 6 years old at Slayer. I don't even think I could tell you what Slayer was. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, growing up, it was always pretty cool, like that he was in a band and like so influential. But I honestly didn't understand how big of a deal he was until recently. Like, we'd be at shows and like people would come up to my mom, and I'm like, what? Like, how do you know my mom? Because in my head, she just like gets mad at me for not doing my homework,
Yeah.
But yeah, for a while, I never really understood that. And then now, like, I'm into the music on my own. So it's kind of like on the way here, like picking me up from school, we're listening to World Downfall actually as like a celebration of this 35 year. And I was like I've definitely listened to it before, but like it was really like, okay, yeah, like that's my uncle. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, we're listening to the lyrics, like the lyrics are so like, radical leftist. So I think it's a lot of what's happening now to the day, I mean, we're 35 years later, and like Terrorizer lyrics are about, the title, World Downfall, like war, devastation, and stuff like that. And like they were ahead of their time. That's what I always say about this album. Jesse, Oscar, Pete, they were way ahead of their time with their thinking, with their, the way the lyrics were written. Like, I mean, in '88, we had a few wars, a lot of wars. We had the Iraq war. Like, if you look at the World Downfall like album cover, like, come on, like, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself.
It's classic. Yeah, it's you see it and you're like, whoa.
And like this relates to this, like, to where we're at now in this world right now, and they were passionate about that. Like, I have like some of Jesse's like old vests and jackets, and he would like draw like peace signs on them and stuff like that. And it's like, like he was really ahead of his time, like, like. So, and I could go on and on about that, like about how he influenced my life in those terms. But like, we're just, we're talking about the album. But yeah, I mean, this is like, look at the album cover. This is like, and I think he like cut and paste. And I was talking to my dad about that, like, because my dad's like a good historian about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting older, where it's like my memory is like, how did he cut and paste this stuff? Like, like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, so
like
Jesse, I didn't know that. I mean, I thought I knew everything. I didn't know he actually cut and pasted the album
yeah,
cover.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay,
like
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like cut and paste, like do it, like make a copy, like yeah, it was pretty like how would you say that? Pretty organic,
Yeah.
homegrown. I don't know, like back then, gotta go to the
Yeah,
copy
total
machine.
DIY. DIY. He did it
Total
himself.
DIY, yes, total
Yes.
DIY.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I was going to ask if you guys kept all his old instruments or his old music collection or anything like that. Do you guys still have all that stuff in your possession?
Yes, we do have a few of his old guitars. When Jesse was known for tape trading back in like the
Yeah.
'87. Like so we do have his collection of all his tape trading, and we have the notebooks with like number 87. Like a brutal truth.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're at my parents' house. They have them there. We kind of take care of that stuff.
Awesome.
We do have fun nights where we go and the girls want to explore. Like, let's look at the vault. We call it the vault.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Can I come?
yeah,
Can I come? I want to
Yeah.
go check it out too. I'll be like,
You're
look at
invited,
that.
brother.
yeah,
Yeah, you're invited. The guys from
yeah.
Cenotaph, Art Chagathis from Canada, they've been there.
Oh,
You
okay,
mean they?
cool.
They haven't seen the vault, but they've been at my parents' house.
But they've
Oh,
they've
okay.
they've all had photos with the guitars. I mean, the
Yeah,
napalm guitars, even the broken down Terrorizer guitars from the '80s. They're all there. They're all there. You mean they're in a showcase, and
wow.
like a little I don't know what you would call it, but you could say a little museum. You mean?
Hell yeah.
Where,
I mean, I'd be, man, if I went by there, I'd be
anybody's welcome to come if they want to come, and if the right time comes, we could take them to the parents' house. You mean? And they could see the guitars. They're right there. You mean?
Our friends,
I would be like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Our close friends from Cenotaph, Mexico, they were
Oscar,
there.
shout out Oscar, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, shout out to Big Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar
Alexis, Memo, Julio, everybody. A big shout out to those guys. I mean, we're a big family. I mean, the guys also let me hear a big shout out to those guys because I know they're listening right now. I mean, Joe, Noel, Vince, and Lorenzo. I mean, big shout out to them. I mean, but you seen us. We play with you guys. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
we jump with you guys in Texas. I mean,
fuck yeah, that shit was incredible. I was gonna say, man, if I were to walk into the vault area, I'd be like, I don't know if you guys remember on that old movie Ace Ventura when he walks into some guy's house, he goes, "This is my Graceland," where Elvis's house. So if I walked in there, I'd be like, "Oh, this is my Graceland," I'd be all fucking like, I'd probably like, I might even shoot a tear or something.
Cool. You mean, honestly, to think that I met Jesse back in, I think it was '88 or '89 at a backyard party. I mean, when he came to check out his band, and we saw this guy just rocking out. I don't want to say rocking out, but getting into the band. Rocking out, I guess you could say. And he was super cool. And then all of a sudden, after we played, he was like right up in our face, like, "Wow, you guys are great," blah blah blah. And and I go, "Who is that guy?" He's like, and it turns out it was Jesse Pintado. It was Jesse Pintado of Terrorizer, which was oh shit. We only had heard of Jesse Pintado. He's a legend because of the underground tape trading and everything. Everything we were doing at the time was tape trading, and we've never met Jesse, and so to know that Jesse was at our show, it was a major thing for us. You know what I mean, it was like, whoa. I mean, you might as well have Slayer there. You know what I mean, but it was Jesse Pintado. Yeah, it was Jesse Pintado, and he's like, dude, and a few months later, we're fucking Terrorizer and my old band. We're jamming together at a backyard party. I mean, that's when people didn't understand what people didn't understand what the heck Terrorizer was doing at the time. I mean, but they were way ahead of their time. I mean,
absolutely. So
Dan and Nausea were way ahead of their time, and we have a lot of respect for those guys. I personally have a lot of respect for those guys.
Same
I
here.
want to share one thing. This is Jesse's Levi vest when he was 15. Maybe
let me put you solo so everybody can see it. Oh my goodness! Yeah, that rules.
It's really small. So he has DRI here. He's got MDC here. He's got Suicidal there, and then he's got like his one of his bands.
Abaddon.
Oh wait, he had a band called Abaddon?
Yes. That's pre-Nausea.
Yeah.
That's pre-Nausea, Nausea, pre-Terrorizer.
Yeah.
That was their original band called Abaddon.
I just want to point out that he would always draw peace signs, on his stuff, because I guess during his maybe writing lyrics, like war and against war and like war devastation and stuff like that. Like he always drew peace signs. So yeah, I've kept this, and it's got death. He does have death, but it's kind of cool to share this stuff with my daughters because it's like she listens to DRI. I've taken her to see DRI. And I'm like, these were influences for him, She likes punk rock, and I'm like, Discharge was a big punk rock band that it was influence for him.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to share this and with my daughter. And, it's like this is the next generation right here.
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of weird too. Like I go to my grandmother's house, like the vault. That's where the vault is at my grandma's house. And I've only seen it a couple of times, but every time I open it, it's like, oh my God, what? It's weird. Because in my head, it's I don't know. It's just it's kind of a trip, honestly.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd be...
Tape trading was is trying to explain to her what tape trading was back in the day. She's like, what?
Well, do you know what a cassette is? You should probably know what a cassette. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good that there's a 14-year-old that knows what a cassette is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to avoid it growing up there, I guess,
Yeah, it's kind of avoided when you have Emma and myself. I mean, we're born with music and we live through music, and we have everything and every technology that's available to either play vinyl, CDs, or tapes. I mean, she can't avoid it. I mean, we don't push her to hear anything she doesn't want to hear. We don't demand that she hears this kind of music.
No,
it's all up to her.
And honestly,
as long as it's not Taylor Swift, I was like, I draw the line.
It all kind of happened on my own. I understand, it was totally put in my face, and I definitely eased into it a lot more quicker and easier than I'm sure a lot of other kids my age do, just because of how easy it is for me. But when I was really younger, it was I just wanted to hear Justin Bieber and what was on the radio,
Of course.
Until yeah.
Go.
Yeah, that's cool. So do you have since we're talking about the album 35th anniversary, is there any specific songs on the album that you dig? Sedona?
Oh, okay. I mean, you're putting me on the spot here, but
no, I don't want to do that. I just
no. I mean, honestly, other than the few the obvious ones, Fear of Napalm, just the obvious ones, I might say, what is it, Whirlwind Struggle or something?
Yes, there you go. Whirlwind Struggle. Yeah.
It's definitely up there on my list.
Nice.
Yeah.
Francisco, let's play that one, dude.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. That way I can play a song that that we can jam to. So I'm gonna play Whirlwind Struggle right now.
Do it. I want to hear that one too right now.
Cheers to 35 years.
Hell
World
yeah.
I can't see who's logged on, so I want to say
we have a pretty big crowd. There's been like almost 90 people here, so that's pretty good.
I can't see who's logged on, but I want to say hi to Iris. Hi, Iris.
And everyone else.
And everyone else.
If you guys want to see the comments, there's on the top right. I think there's something where you can push and it says comments, and you'll be able to see everything.
Okay. We're on a cell phone.
Yeah, but it should still work.
But I want to say hi to everyone. Thank you, everyone,
Awesome.
for being like my extended metal family.
Yeah, no, I have no idea how cool it is to hear your perspective on this, because it's
Francisco, there's so many. Hey, Francisco, there's so many stories. We go on for hours and hours. I mean, between me and Emma, I mean, we go on for hours and hours about the history and how proud we are of our brothers, and like Oscar Garcia and Eric Castro, Carlos Reveles. I mean, it goes on and on. Our history goes beyond just friendship. I mean, it's just, we're proud of our what we did with I'm proud of what our brothers did in Terrorizer and Nausea. Today we're talking about Terrorizer, but we're really proud of everything they did. I mean,
of course.
And we support Oscar 100%. Like, they're having a show November 30th here at 1720.
They play with Citizen Intent and Massacre.
That's a pretty big.
It's a big show. We're going to be there to support it. We'd like to promote it.
Cool.
But I mean, we're proud of our brothers. I mean, they're not just our brothers, but they're family to us. I mean, and we're happy to say that for 35, whatever it's been in years, we're right behind you guys. I mean, and we'll be there forever. I mean.
Absolutely. This album will live on way past after we're all gone. It'll still be around. And that's my great grandkids.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, so this is for Sedona. This is Whirlwind Struggle.
Woo! That's pretty good.
Good job.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why. If it sounded low, I'm not sure why. There they are. But yeah, there you go. Classic album. That's actually one of my favorites too. When he sings, you know what makes us bleeping sick. I'm not gonna curse. Um,
Fucking assholes in control.
yeah, there you go. All right, you can say it. I'm not gonna cuss. I did meet Jesse years ago at a show. It was a Napalm show, I'm sure. And I didn't talk to him very long. I just told him, hey man, appreciate everything you've ever done or whatever. Kind of just one of those things, dig what you do and things like that. So he was real nice to me and all that. So that's a good memory to have. Sometimes you meet people and they're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have met him, but he's not one of those people. So he was very cool that way.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Those
He
are
was very cool. He was
Yeah,
very
because
cool. And it was,
I know yeah.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm glad to hear that because Jesse was humble. He was a humble guy.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what kind of I don't know. I guess that kind of people that are like that are the ones that do make an impact or on people, is the people that don't have these egos or anything like that. They just do what they do, and if you like it, cool. If you don't, oh well, cool too. But he's one of he's definitely one of those people that was like that. That wasn't like, hey, look at me, I'm Jesse
Yeah.
from Napalm Death or whatever. It was never nothing like that.
Yeah,
So,
I hear a lot of stories about that. Like people are like, "Oh, I met him and it was so cool. Like we drank a beer together, like things like that, like stories like that." And it's like I'm always just, because I wasn't there like most of his tours. Like I mean,
of course.
like, we saw him here in LA when he toured here and stuff like that. And he was always like all about like spending time with my parents. Like he'd come off the tour bus and I'd pick him up and it was like, go home, like he was like planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm done. And I remember one time I was like, hey, like there's a show, like I want to go, like I think I was trying to drag him to like a Fear Factory show in LA. And he was
Yeah.
like, really? I don't really want to go. And I was like, please, like, go with me. Like, like we could get backstage. Da, da, da. And he's like, okay, I just want to be home with my parents. And my mom made tamales for him, like his favorite
Hell yeah,
food.
I'm with him.
Yeah. Like my mom would like spoil him like tamales, like, all
Of
the
course.
favorite food he liked, and that's when and I mean, at the time, like I was all like going to shows and stuff, and like I didn't really understand that, but now I understand. Like he just wanted to decompress and be in a peaceful place and be like home, like he could like ground somewhere, like because his life on tour was brutal,
Yeah.
and so now I understand like why that was important to him. Like I just want my mom's cooking. I just want to sit here and like just kind of be with my parents, and but so that
Life on the road.
I think the years that he spent with Napalm Death, like he was always like that, always humble, never acted like a rock star, like he, I don't know, I think a couple of tours he wore like a Selena shirt when Selena was murdered, like he was really proud of his like heritage. Like he was really proud of his being Hispanic and
Yeah.
Latino, and so he was humble. And I think when fans tell me like, "Hey, I met him and like, he was cool and like he signed my record and he was cool," and so that makes us happy. Like he wasn't like a dick, like he wasn't like, "Oh yeah," like like other. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
there.
I
I've
wanna. I
been to
wanna.
shows where I've been like, hey, like, like, can I take a picture with you? And I took her to see DRI and like we're trying to get a picture with Kurt, and he was like, "Oh my God, I have a long line over here. I don't have time." And I was just like, "Dude, like it's a kid." Like, so I was just like, "Okay, all right." So I was just disappointed, but like I'm glad that Jesse has that legacy, or that that history, that he was cool, that he was nice and talked to everybody. And I'm sure there's a bunch of stories out there, like of him drinking with friends and stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
But
people sharing that in the chat right now, saying he was just, he was a
I can't see this
easily
chat.
approachable guy.
We're trying to figure out how to watch this chat. You mean?
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on. We're gonna get the expert.
let the 14-year-old figure it
yeah.
out.
Okay, let me
There
see.
she goes.
I knew it. I should have just had her do it.
It was a big old button that said chat,
Yeah. Maybe we should push that one, right?
Carl said Jesse came up to me and was just like, "How's it going?" In the afternoon before the show, really tripped me out. Yeah, yeah. Jesse was like that, Jesse was super humble and awesome.
Yeah.
I love the glass. Hi, Aries.
Hey, do you guys mind if I have my friend Richard has a pretty cool story about Jesse? If you guys mind if I bring him on so he can share a story with you about meeting Jesse?
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah.
So
let's hear
Richard, his name is Richard Santos. He's a friend of mine from Austin, Texas. So Richard, I'm gonna send you the link. So jump on, Richard. I think he's told me the story, and I think it's pretty cool. And Richard's actually a pretty good storyteller. So
please, Richard, let's hear it.
Yeah, he'll pop on in a second. I sent him the link.
Oh,
So
okay.
Richard, if you Richard, come on, jump on and share your story, because he always said, "Dude, World Downfall is the greatest fucking album of all." Oh, sorry, I forgot I had a sorry.
It's
Greatest
okay.
album of all time.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You're
sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. I mean,
No,
but,
you're good.
Yeah, so I sent him the link, and he will. Yeah. So, I was going to ask about the. Oh, there he is. That was quick. Hey, Richard.
That was quick.
Hi, Richard.
Hey, I don't know what's going on, but I hear a lot of echo.
Hi, Richard.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hold on a second.
Hello. Okay, how about now?
That's much better. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Can you guys hear Richard?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, what's going on, man?
Yeah, we can.
Uh-oh, I still can't hear you. Yeah, it's Richard. You have to. I don't know what you pushed a while ago, but it helped because there's a massive echo happening.
Okay. How about now?
Perfect.
There we go. So yeah, with the first time I met Jesse Pintado, I had him sign my Terrorizer album. There you go. It's in ballpoint pen.
Jesus'
Wow.
armpit.
And when I had him sign my album, I had told him that I listened to hundreds of thrash and death and speed and grind and core metal, but this album by far is my all-time favorite. And he looked both ways and whispered, "It's mine too."
No way.
But he also told me I only need 2 more autographs because David Vincent was never a member of the band. And I said, "What?"
No.
He said, "No. He just did the bass recordings for the album, so you only need 2 more autographs. You don't need his autograph." So I never bothered to get his autograph on the record.
And you told me something earlier about a pool game or something?
Yeah, my older brother, who's also named Jesse, he played a game of pool with Jesse at the Voodoo Lounge when Napalm Death had come through Austin one time. Yeah, we went to go see Napalm Death one time, and he was just hanging around. And my older brother saw him playing pool and asked him, "Hey, you want to throw down a game of pool?" So 2 Jessies played pool. And to me, that was exhilarating because
that sounds like Jesse. He loved pool and
yeah.
yeah.
Foosball.
Yeah.
So who won?
I can't remember who won. I kind of want to.
Jesse won.
Pintado had won.
Jesse won.
Jesse
I'm
won.
pretty sure.
The girl with
Jesse
Jesse
won.
won. Jesse won.
I'm almost positive that Pintado had won the game. My older brother's a really good pool player too, but I think Jesse won.
Who knew Jesse Pintado was a pool shark?
Well, it's probably from playing in all the clubs. You know, when you
That's true.
tour and all the clubs have pool tables, you just have a lot of downtime, so you probably play a lot of pool.
Well, you know, like he even bought my parents a pool table.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's to this day the pool table is still there.
Yeah.
Because you know, once he joined Napalm and he made some money, he bought my parents' home here in California, and then he bought a pool table, and it's still there.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you knew this, but that book, Choosing Death, the one that the grindcore thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm the guy that contributed all the Terrorizer flyers in that.
Oh, really?
And this is how it happened. Years ago, I did a fanzine called Passed Out, which was a fanzine that was just nothing but flyers. No interviews, no reviews, no write-ups, no ads, no nothing. It was just flyer after flyer. And Richard Hoke from Brutal Truth had come into Austin one time, and I met up with him and gave him one of my fanzines. And he took it back to the Relapse people, and he gave one to Albert. And Albert had called me on the phone one day and said, hey, Richard had given me your fanzine with all the flyers. I'm writing this book about grindcore. Do you have any flyers from these particular bands? I'll buy them off you. And I said, no, I'm not going to charge you. I want to contribute. So I Xeroxed hundreds of flyers for Albert and sent him his way. And I want to say like maybe 60-80% of the flyers that I had sent him, he put in that book.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
All the Terrorizer flyers in this book, they came from my collection.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's cool.
Oh, I've never seen that. How can I get a copy of that?
Okay.
I think this is like the first edition. They also have like a second pressing. It's called Choosing Death.
Oh, I remember that.
Of death metal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
cool.
my contribution.
Hey, well, Richard, I appreciate you jumping on and sharing that with us.
You
That's
bet.
Cool of you.
Thanks for having me, and it's great to meet y'all and talk to you. I hope that one day in the future
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Later, dude. Yeah, I know how much Richard loves World Downfall. I mean, a lot of people do, but Richard just, when he's told me that story about Jesse saying kind of like, yeah, that's my favorite album too, dude, or whatever. I always thought that was a cool story, of him saying that. So, because even on like the first Napalm album he was on, if you look on the thanks list on Jesse's part, it says, Terrorizer still rules or something like that on the thanks list. So he was all, you could tell he was still like, yeah, Terrorizer, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, if you understood Terrorizer back then, it's easy to understand now. But it was strange. I mean, it was very few people that knew what the band was about. I mean, we go back in the history, my brother, but it's a lot to take in. I mean, it's a lot to take in, and what Terrorizer did back then, with Oscar, I would say my brother Carlos, my other brother Eric Castro, brother Oscar Garcia. What they were doing back then, it was way ahead of their time. We're proud of what we did. I was not part of that scene. I started up maybe a few years later. But what they were doing at the time was beyond what we expected for World Downfall to be. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I could ask you tons of questions, but I know you got things to do. One last thing. The infamous LA backyard parties. Did any of you ever go to any of those shows where Terrorizer played in the backyard?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What can you share? Yeah. Can you share something memory from that?
Yeah, I mean, God, we're going way back. You know, well, in my experience, like going to shows and see Jesse in the backyard gigs, he was like, you know, I used to go with him sometimes. He was kind of very protective, kind of brother, you know, and
Yeah.
I think I was always single, and he would always be like, you know, kind of watching over me, like, because there was always guys and whatever, but
That's what older brothers do.
older brothers, and I was kind of known as the little sister, so that kind of ruined it for me. But no, it's like, you know, like my experience like with them, like carrying their amps and going in the backyard, and like most of the shows were like in like neighborhoods like East LA, Boyle Heights, like South LA. Like, I mean, these were like shows that were like
In bad areas.
like in, you know, maybe not so good areas, but they weren't like
Yeah.
shut down, you know, like they would just, and they'd have like slam pits, and sometimes they were in like places with a lot of dirt, and you'd have like all this dirt flying and stuff like that. And it was like, I think there was a place called the Dust Bowl.
Linwood Lot, yeah.
Linwood Lots, the Dust Bowl. And like pits would just get crazy. And it was like, you know, kids were hungry at the time for this music. And it was like, then, you know, that's, I mean, Terrorizer playing shows like that. It was a good time. It was a good experience. Lots of memories. Gosh, I think
Yeah. If I may add to that, you know what I mean? We've been to Terrorizer guys, you mean, and we took off, you mean, we did shows with them. For some reason, I never met Emma Pintado at the time, but you mean, I'm glad I did at the time.
Jesse wouldn't let you.
Yeah, fucker. Yeah, I got that thing against him. No, I'm kidding. No, it was, you mean, no. I mean, even we're at different times. I mean, she had a relationship with her boyfriend at the time, but we played together with Terrorizer guys. I mean, we played with Terrorizer live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most people, for the most part, didn't understand what the heck Terrorizer was doing. It was grindcore. I mean, it was different. Nobody understood what they were doing, but to us, like personally myself, like, God, you guys are way ahead of their time. You mean? Yeah. And I'm proud to say to this day that they're my brothers, Oscar Garcia, Eric Castro, Carlos Reveles. You mean? And the guys who played all along. You mean with us? They were way ahead of their time. They knew what they were doing. We're proud of our LA brothers, and we have a lot of personally, I have a lot of respect for those guys. You know what I mean? And yeah, brother. So, if any last words are said, they are our brothers, and we're proud of everything they've done, and everything they will be, and everything their testament will be.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can let the 14-year-old. Is there anything you want to share out? Anything you want to share? Any cool stories that maybe your mom has told you about your uncle or anything?
Oh man. I mean, I've heard so many, but I don't know. What do you think? Honestly, like, I guess just like her and Enrique just telling me the stories of like when they were younger and just the scene at the time. Those are always cool to hear. But yeah, I don't think I can pinpoint one.
No. Well, by the way, you did amazing on here. By the way, because I'll have people on here that are grown up people, and they're like, they don't know what to say. So you did a fantastic job, by the way, because most people are like just terrified of getting on camera. So
appreciate that. Thank you.
So do you?
I just want to say a few things about, like, I mean, we're talking about World Downfall. It's been 35 years. The legacy of World Downfall. It's it's a long legacy, and like it feels like yesterday to us, and it's like, but I just want to say, like, there's a lot of things out there, like with the new Terrorizer, with Pete and all that stuff, and like people ask me like, how do you feel about that? And And I just, my roots are here in LA, and I just feel like Jesse would be happy with what Oscar and his friends are doing now, um, versus like all this other, all this other stuff going on. I do respect Pete, and like I'm friends with him, and like we do think highly of him. But like I always hear those comments, or people ask me questions about, oh, like, well, how do you feel? But I just want people to know, like, the true fans of like Jesse and Oscar and like Terrorizer, that it was like a homegrown band, kids from like a bad neighborhood in LA, like didn't have guitar lessons, and they just kind of came up, and like they were so creative and talented, and like came up with this album that has influenced like so many bands, like I feel, and I carry that. I'm so proud of that, and I will carry that, like you can see now, to my my next generation. Like I feel really happy about that, that it was it was an album that really inspired a lot of bands, a lot of musicians. Not only like the riffs and music and stuff, because it was fast, they're like fast musicians, and it was like, oh my god, like, uh, but also the lyrics, like where they were in their mindset when they wrote these lyrics. So to me, like I've been like thinking of that, like this stuff is happening now, and what was my brother thinking of writing these lyrics back then, like world liberation, like stuff like that, like world, world chaos and stuff like that. It's just like wow, like it's stuff that like I'm kind of teaching my kids, like your uncle was writing these lyrics, like these are lyrics that were written 35 years ago.
Music, yeah.
And music, and it's like, and we're going through like all this stuff right now, like genocide in Gaza, like all this stuff is happening still, and they wrote these lyrics back then. So I think, like for me, I'm really like that humbles me like so much, like. So again, talking about Jesse being a humble, not a rock star guy out there, like that really like makes us feel good as a family. And like I want to thank all his supporters and all his fans. Like, thank you, like, for keeping him in that like humble place, and like keeping him and his band and all the guys in Terrorizer, that like keeping them in that place, like not that band that is like out there, like I don't know, like I don't want to speculate on all that stuff, but like, like to us in LA, Terrorizer is sacred to us. So, I wish all those other bands that are doing Terrorizer, I wish them a good luck, but to us, this is sacred, and we're going to keep it that way, because that's what Jesse and Oscar meant it to be. So that's our job to do, to continue that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that
And
well
thank
said.
you. And thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Of course,
thank
no,
you.
I wasn't
all the
really
thanks.
prepared. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not in the
All
band.
the thanks goes to you. All the thanks goes to you for coming on here and sharing. Like I said, I mean, that album and your brother, and I know you guys and your parents probably heard it a lot of times, but it was one of those moments in my life where you have those where things kind of change for you, and that was, for me, that was one of those moments as a 15-year-old kid where, hey, my life completely changed, after hearing this. Like I mentioned, just the whole Hispanic thing and all that, it was huge. It was huge for me, and I know it's huge for so many people. And this album, like I said, will live on forever. It still sounds brand new. When I hear these songs now, I still get the hair on my arm, still stands up. It's still. There's a reason it's considered a classic album, because it will stand the test of time. So very, very awesome that you guys supported him like that. Because if you and your parents or whatever would have never supported him, who knows what would have happened, right? So some of that thanks goes to you guys for being there and supporting him. And if your dad hadn't bought that guitar at $300 guitar, I mean, would we have heard ripped to shreds or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
the thanks goes to to you guys as well. But yeah, again, I want to thank you guys for coming on. This was very cool, very very cool for me. I was super excited to talk about it, to hear your stories, and yeah, thank you. All I can say is thank you very much, and we'll hopefully you guys may want to come back on someday. Maybe Sedona will have a band one day. We could talk about her band. Right?
It's the Pope.
Oh, good question. Good question. I'm glad you mentioned it, Carl. Before we go, I want to talk about Lurking Terror. Lurking Terror is Enrique's latest band. Lurking Terror rules. We played with them. We played with them in Houston. One of the best sets of the weekend by far. The new album is out now, right? The first album, or is it pre-order?
Yeah. So the EP is released. Tomorrow is released. Yeah, tomorrow is actually released. But yeah, we love one of my favorite crowds is Texas, Ohio, New York, LA. We love LA because they're hometown. But yeah, bro, looking forward to fucking hearing everything.
Where's the chat?
We have a new video out. I'll send it to you soon. It should be out tomorrow. There's difficulties, but it'll be out tomorrow. And
awesome. So yeah, definitely get that.
Yeah. I just had a good talk with Rick from Citizen 10, my old band member. And they did give us the great salute to carry on.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. We're cool with that. Everything. So they give us the salute to carry on, and we're looking forward. The record comes out in a couple of days. I think I've heard that it's maybe delayed a couple of weeks, but the record release is on December 7th here in LA. First time playing LA, man, in 30-something years. But we're looking forward to it. Guys, check it out. Support my buddy Francisco. Everything he does is all real. It's really fucking real. Everything he talks about is real. And we'll see you guys soon, guys.
Awesome. Get that Lurking Terror. Don't be a poser. Get that Lurking Terror album when it comes out.
Yeah, fucking posers. Get it. I heard it was like. There's like I think there's like five vinyls left. I think from what I heard. But hey, check it out, guys. Cheers, guys.
Awesome.
Love you guys. Love everybody.
Thank you very much.
From the Pintado and Lurking Terror family. We love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye. That was pretty cool, y'all. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I felt pretty good about it from the get-go. I just because having Jesse's sister and Enrique, so close to Jesse and Oscar, and that's who they grew up with, and yeah, very cool. I mean, you got, like I said at the beginning, it's no secret how much I am influenced by Terrorizer to this day. Even songs I'm writing in 2024, still Terrorizer, man. Still Terrorizer. It will live on forever. One of those albums that will keep getting reissued, repressed, because they got it right. So thanks anybody. Those of you that, I'm sorry I didn't really get to any questions in the chat. I apologize for that, but the flow was kind of going pretty good. I didn't want to kind of disturb it. So Richard Santos, thank you very much. That was very cool of you to share that, your stories. How about Jesse's vest when he was 15 years old? How sick was that? How sick was that? That was very, very cool for Emma to show us Jesse's vest when he was 15 with all those hand-drawn logos. That was amazing. Amazing. And the stories, and so cool. Like I said, I know this was about World Downfall, and I think we kind of covered World Downfall pretty well. So, again, thank y'all. I think I'm gonna. Hopefully, the audio sounds a little better this time. I don't know why that last song sounded low. If everything sounded good coming out of the speakers, it was kind of low for some reason. I checked the audio settings, and I probably sound a little low. I don't know. So let's see how this. We're gonna end it with the last two tracks of the album. Dead Shall Rise and the title track World Downfall. So let's see. You guys tell me if hopefully it's, I mean, I'm still going to play it, but hopefully it sounds a little better. So again, thank you all. You rule. Don't forget Friday, El Necron show. Going to have J-Dog on there. And there we go. Here we go.
Poser alert.
Yeah!